Welcome to Just the Tip, all you lovers out there. This week, me and Ishea talk about our first date because we just had our 3-year anniversary from our very first date. We met one time before that date, 3 months prior, at my best friend's wedding. I finally got her phone number from the bride of that wedding, and then I texted her, and like a week and a half later, we had our first date. And now here we are 3 years later, 3 whole years later. How do you feel about that?
So I feel really happy because I think back to our first date and I can remember the moment in the night where I liked you.
And that was when I bent you over the barrel at Grimm's.
You didn't bend me over the barrel, but it was definitely when we were dancing and I was definitely bent over, but not like a barrel.
There was a barrel. They have a barrel in the corner. I remember it.
I wasn't like supporting my weight on it.
I remember your hands being on it.
Oh, well, I just remember you better than mine. But like, I remember how I felt in that moment and I was like, oh, you were like behind me and I felt like you were kind of taking charge. And so I was like, oh, because the whole night you had been so nice that I was wondering if maybe you were just not too nice.
What's wrong with him? He's not a dick.
I was coming off a different type of relationship back then.
Yeah. That's like some like fucked up, like something's not right with him because he's like not being an asshole to me.
So it was definitely, I questioned like, oh, I wonder if he can kind of have this you know? And at that moment, maybe 4 hours into the night, you did. So I was looking back at my phone and I saw the drunk, blurry bathroom picture I took that night. And I can see how happy I was. And it was just a really nice memory. So yeah, who would have thought after that first date where I took a lift home 4 blocks, I
was appalled by that. I wanted to like walk you home because I was like, why would you take a lift 4 blocks?
Yeah, you didn't judge me.
My car was parked further away than where we were at.
Yeah, that's who we were. I was the one who took a lift 4 blocks. You fed me drinks all night. You don't like spending money like that.
We only got a couple drinks at Grimm's. We got like 1 drink at Stout. And then, like, maybe 1 drink at Grimm's.
But, like, we went to Rancho Bravo.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was great. Who would have thought, like, that after that date, 3 years later, we'd be engaged? Anyone
listening who knew us at the time, what did you think? Let us know.
Yeah, let us know. I mean, also, Tina was there. So, happy anniversary, Tina. It was also your day, too.
Yeah. Does Tina listen to this?
Maybe. I don't know.
Well, let's tell her to listen, because I'm giving her a shout-out. Okay. Thanks for the Valentine's Day chocolates, Tina, and happy 3-year anniversary.
So, thinking about our anniversary, we started binging a new show on Netflix. It is called Dating Around. The whole premise of the show is they set someone up with a couple of blind dates, and they are forced to have this blind date on camera in front of everyone. Okay, so then we saw this girl, Gurki. She's 36 years old, Indian woman, and she's divorced, no kids. She was going out on dates. Her best friend described her as intimidating men with her beauty. And she had probably one of the most memorable dates with the biggest asshole ever. His name was Justin. This guy, actually, he was so misogynistic. What did you think?
I'm so glad that I knew he was a douche before he like started talking, because I could just see he was a douche. If you watch the episode, you'll get it.
Has anyone watched the episodes yet? If you have, like, let us know, because he was pretty much trash.
And as soon as he found out that like she had gone through a marriage and then had to get a divorce because she didn't love the guy, he's like, wait, so you lied to a man?
You lied to a man?
You lied to a man? Well, as long as you admit that.
He's like, I don't understand why me or anyone else would trust you ever. And it's just like, dude, you're not understanding disgusting. The fact that she's trying to express to you that her parents had an arranged marriage, that culturally there's a lot of pressure.
Well, what's interesting is she called that out. As soon as he like started to get weird about her having been married before and like not completely in love at the time, she says,
questioning if she wanted to get married.
She says, she's like, this is a culture clash. Because you don't understand, like, the pressures that I was under and that with that culture. And she points out, like, my parents were an arranged marriage. And then when you look, but then it's like, if you look at her parents and then her parents' parents and like hundreds of years prior, they were all arranged marriages. So like to be unwilling to understand that kind of influence in that culture.
Well, also, he's 31, and I'm not writing off 31-year-olds, but the fact is that she's 36 and she's lived a fucking life before him. And I think it really comes down to having a little understanding that the older we get, people have lived life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I thought it was funny that he's on this date with this 36-year-old woman, and when she asked him about his previous relationship, he said that he had lived with his ex for 2 years, but had to end things because she wanted marriage and kids, and he just couldn't, he knew he wasn't ready for that, and he couldn't, like, continue to drag her through that. And I'm thinking, you're such a piece of fucking trash. This is a story we hear all the time where one person isn't ready for what the other one wants, but they waste their time. They waste everyone's time. So I'm sitting here like, you're judging her for getting married and then having the courage to get a divorce because she's not happy, while you bullshitted your ex for 2 years. And it's complicated. The last girl we watched was episode 5. Her name was Sarah. She seems like a girl from the South who wants to portray that she's from Portland. Like, everything about her is like very Portlandia, but it doesn't feel authentic. It feels like she's method acting by living in New York right now. She was a tech recruiter. She made me cringe. It was just, what was it about her that kind of we weren't into?
She was just like trying
She was
too
trying
hard.
really hard to be from Portland or Seattle. And
or
it's
we
like,
just didn't actually like her personality.
I didn't like her personality because she was pretending to be edgy like she's from Seattle or Portland. And God, I know that me saying someone is edgy because they're from here, but
Yeah.
when I say that, I mean, like, she's tatted up. She has, like, the hipster, like, I'm a smart girl, but I'm kind of sexy bangs, where it's like that very severe bang that most people can't pull off, not even Beyonce. And, like, some tattoos that are kind of fucking artsy, like Lena Dunham. And I don't know. She was just... I think I've lived here too long because she literally is like what's outside, and it bothered me. But it's because it was fake. Because she's from North Carolina.
You've lived here so long that now you're actually mad at fake hipsters.
Yeah.
You're like, they're not even a real hipster. Like,
They're not even a fucking authentic hipster.
What up?
Yeah, but she just was exhausting to me. But like you just said, Mike, I think it's because I live here and I need a vacation, and I leave for Vegas in like 6 hours.
Good for you. And you're not going to sleep, probably.
Yeah,
you still haven't
I'm
done
not
your laundry.
sleeping. No, I had to. Okay, so anyone else understand the struggle of recording a podcast and having to choose between recording a podcast or doing your laundry? Because if I turn on the dryer, then we can't record.
He's too loud.
He's too loud. But watching these people on these heinous first dates made me think like... heinous blind dates, I should add. It made me think about, like, have you ever been on a blind date?
Do you remember the original blind date? The original blind date is where, like, your friend has someone that they're into, and then they have their friend come along too.
Oh, Tina was on a blind date.
Yeah.
That's funny. Our first date, my girlfriend Tina was on basically a blind date with the friend that you brought along.
Yeah. Who
happened to be a tall black doctor. So, honestly, I think that Tina's one of my shadiest friends in, like, the most loving way possible. But she's very opinionated, and I love it. And I knew, like, okay, I'm going on this date with this guy, and I'm bringing my most vocal friend with me. This is either going to be amazing or it's going to tank. But either way, I have one of my best friends with me, so I'm going to have a good time. And she had a fucking great time the whole date. She walks in, there's this tall black doctor who is her, like, last minute person because we were at an event before.
You texted me like an hour beforehand and said, hey, I have a friend coming. Can you bring a friend? Like an hour before our first date.
Yeah, I did that, and so you delivered.
And so I went into my phone, and that guy's name starts with an A. So he was the first guy friend who I knew was single, and his name starts with an A.
Know what we should do? I have an idea. I think we need to reach out to him and see if he's still single. And if he is, let's see if he'll get together and the four of us go to dinner. Ooh. That would be so fucking cool. Ooh, good idea. Okay, so we're coming into the final stretch. And Mike wants to talk about aging in his glory days.
No. Okay, so
I want to talk about how you feel about looking back on your life and your glory days.
I
hope these are your glory days.
These are my glory days. Absolutely. Like,
I get to come home. I get to take naps.
I get to come home. I live with you. Like, if I could show 21-year-old Mike, who still lived at home, 23-year-old Mike at least lived out of the house and had his own place with some friends. Like, that was a fun time. But, like, if I could show that Mike, like, a picture of life with you, that Mike would be like, yeah, that's going to be way more fun.
Even though I asked you to stop playing the guitar earlier, and I also asked you to stop playing the drums, which he was playing the drums with a pen and using a box.
And a notepad.
Oh, and a notepad.
I mean, yeah, that stuff's annoying, but, like, you know, have you ever had sex? Like,
I do have sex.
Sex is funner than drums.
Is funner a word?
I just made it a word.
No, but like really.
Okay, I got a PSA. I'm just gonna finish this off with a PSA.
Wait, I don't get to talk about aging?
Oh yeah.
No, go ahead.
No. Tell us about your glory days. You better be with me.
No, this is actually the happiest time of my life with you right now, and I'm looking into your eyes and I'm meaning every single word. Because there is no greater joy for me than to be able to wake up every morning to see you and to go to sleep next to you every single night. The only thing that makes it better is when Khaleesi jumps in the bed and gives us like extra cuddles. And we determined earlier today when we were having a like family cuddle session, and we like all ended up in the bathroom at the same time when I was peeing. Mike's like rocking his face in and out the door because he's like waiting for me to do something. And I realized, like, if we had kids, they'd be kind of weird. Because they'd be, like, overly affectionate. We'd have to tell them not to, like, touch strangers. Don't let anyone hug you. Does anyone else have, like, family cuddle sessions?
I'm sure they do.
Honestly, we've gotten feedback from, like, friends and family that we talk to each other a lot. And they're not used to seeing people talk to each other as much as we do. Or entertain each other as much as we do.
I thought that was only one person that gave us that feedback.
Well, does your dad count as two?
Oh, yeah.
So then two.
Okay.
They're your family.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for listening.
No, you didn't do your PSA.
Yeah, quick PSA. We're still literally imprisoning asylum seekers. So people come to this country to apply for asylum, and they get thrown in prison. Like, what? So I just interacted with someone today who wants to be in a program. And I've got all these applications, all these people. They have to do background checks. They got to write little stuff about themselves. And I'm looking at this person's application. He had to write all this stuff out. And then I get to this point where I realize that this is the first thing that he is applying to in the U.S. And he's only been out of detention, quote unquote, for a few months. And he was in it for almost a year. Because he wanted to come to the U.S., applied for asylum at a port of entry, and was thrown in a prison for almost a year. And I'm like, I'm making this guy like write a blurb about himself and fill in these boxes, and he just got out of he had to be in prison for a whole year just for trying to seek asylum.
Yeah,
and they're doing that shit on purpose. We're doing this to people on purpose. It's fucking nuts.
It makes you really have an appreciation for the freedom you do currently have and the privilege you have, but also really having a deep compassion for the situation someone fled, because to sit in U.S. jail essentially for a year is probably still better than what you were leaving.
Yeah, and this program that he's applying for, I can say with confidence that out of like 20 people who responded, there maybe was 2 or 3 males, and I'm fairly certain that maybe one of them would have been a white male.
Our country is a better place when you enrich it with diversity and actual people who actually really want to work. And I think it's knowing that there are people fleeing really catastrophic situations and coming here to actually just have a better life.
Yeah. And some of them are willing to work hard and learn and be contributing members of society. if not every single one of them. But, you know, people are a grab bag. You get all kinds of randos.
So what's your PSA?
My PSA is don't put kids in cages.
And also call your senator.
Call your senator. No one's stealing your job. You're barely doing your job, okay? You need to be replaced. You barely are
doing your job.
You should be replaced.
What? Are you talking to me?
I'm
joking. I mean, are you joking?
I was staring at you when I said it.
You were. It was a little intense.
Yeah. Love you.
Love
Bye.
You. Love you, mean it.
Bye.
Bye.